Hey, what's going on YouTube? My name is Straw Hat Izzy, aka the Izzy Cruise if you follow me on Twitch. And today I'm going to be bringing you my updated BT8 Mastemon deck profile that I just used to get top 4 in the GFG tournament on Monday. I did fairly well with it in Mario's tournament, and I've made a little iteration since both of those. So I figured I'd bring you guys my thoughts. I'm not greatly happy with the previous list I put out, so I figured I'd give you guys the updated one. And I think this deck has a lot of success and has a lot of really cool and neat tools that you guys could consider playing in Mastemon. With that being said, let's go ahead and start. And if you like the video, do the things with the stuff. Anyway, so for eggs, we're playing 4 copies of Demi Marimon. The reason I'm playing this one is because it helps you not deck out as much in the mirror. If you're playing Niaro, that card's also mandatory, so drawing additional cards can make you deck out a little bit faster. And so that's the whole reasoning, and then it's really cool in combination with the rookies that I play. And then I'm playing 1 copy of Jamon. This is an experimental card. You can play Niaro over this, but I think if you reach the late game and your opponent just doesn't think about it, the retaliation could be really strong into decks like Imperial, into the Mirror, into a bunch of other things. So it's definitely worth giving a try at one. If you don't like it, just play Niaramon. I think they serve similar roles, so no worries there. Then we'll move on to rookies. I'm playing a very small rookie count, as opposed to most decks that play like a larger rookie count. I'm playing 3 copies of Tapermon because this card on deletion draws a card. So it's really good to get that early aggression in, which is something that these yellow decks this format are struggling with, is putting aggression on board. So I really like that. 2 copies of Psychmon, 2 copies of Gazimon, and then 1 copy of Elecmon. Now, when I was playing in GFG yesterday, I was playing 3 copies of Psychmon and then not Elecmon, but I think this card has really cool applications in the format. Being able to pop certain rookies is really cool. And then in combination with Xiaomon, you could possibly get a 2-for-1. So, into Armor Rush, this is also really neat, because then you can crash into a different guy and then pop another rookie. So that works out. Cool things you could do with it. You can also pop opposing Gazimons so that you don't get stopped from memory plays. From there, champions. We are only playing 6 of them, which is still a little high in my opinion. I don't think you should really be playing any more than 6. I was playing 5 for the longest, but we're playing 6 just for other reasons, just because of the way I like to play the deck. So, start off with the best card in the deck, Gatomon. This card's absurd. On play, search a purple and a yellow, but evolving it in the back isn't bad either. It turns on your health sites by itself, and then it allows you to do tempo plays to where even your opponent sees a Gatomon in the back, because Gato evolves for 1 into any Angel, Archangel, or whatever. You could always evolve for 1, hard call the opposite card, and then blow up their board. So a Gatomon in the back makes your opponent think about how they want to progress their turn. So it kind of acts like a floodgate. You don't always need to be searching with it. I'm of the opinion in the early game you don't even need to play this card to search. So yeah, there's that. And then 2 copies of Black Automon. We chose this card over Promote because this card also has Rush. Its dual color typing comes up a lot. And then Retaliation during either player's turn is very strong, especially against decks like Black War Greymon. Because Black War Greymon likes to swing over your things, but if you have this under it, it makes it really hard for Black War Greymon to aggress you. Because you set up a board and they just can't do their typical swing over you type of things. So that's why 6 rookies, 6 champions, I'm sorry, and they're really cool because of other cards I play in the deck, so bumped up to 6. From there, we'll talk about the ultimates. We're playing 2 Lucemon Chaos Mode. You need to play 2 of this, at least 2 of this. This card is phenomenal in the matchup, so I'm sorry for anyone playing on a budget, but this card's absurd. It's probably your best ultimate that you can evolve into. 1 copy of this Lady Devi. We're only playing 1 of this because it is a 6k body, so House Scythe can bring it back. That's the main attraction of the card. And then 3 copies of BT3 Lady Devi. This card's really strong, so being able to draw 3, pitch 2 for 1 cost over Gato is absurd. And then the option effect always comes up. So cool thing you can do is you can use Hell Scythe to kill something. Mastemon will bring something back, popping a, let's say, a Armor Purge Digimon, um, then you can trigger this to pop the rookie that's under the Armor Purge Digimon because you can do all your effects in any order that you'd like. So, really cool stratagem you can use. It comes up a little bit to do that play, but I think the drawing is like super powerful. Then we play two copies of Angelwomon. I was playing three in the tournament yesterday, but I go back and forth between three and two. I just wanted to make room for the additional champion, so that's why we cut it down to two. You could play three though, and then just cut a Black Auto and go down to five. It's all preference in that regard. And then at least three copies of Magna Angie. I don't think you need four. I think this card's very suboptimal to be hard casting. I really think you only do it like if you're in an advantageous position or when you're like literally about to lose. Beside that, I like pitching it. It's just very important that when you're playing this deck, you know what cards you're pitching because you want to keep at least one purple and one yellow in your hand at all times for any situation that can come up. So, because the second that you don't have one of the other pieces and you lose the tempo game, you're out completely. So, that's it. It's 10 ultimates you can evolve into, and then the 2 Lucemon, which is really strong. Then from here, we got the ultimates, the megas, I'm sorry. The mega lineup is actually really cool, in my opinion. It's something I think different that a lot of people aren't all doing. And there's definitely one card that I think is only niche to myself in this deck and my teammates. So, I'm playing 4 copies of Mastemon. That's pretty standard. I don't think you can play any less. We were thinking about cutting it to 3, and then we were like, no, that's just dumb. So 4. Mastemon's absurd. This card's like literally what the deck revolves around, so can't really not play it. 1 copy of Aphanion Fall Down Mode. I struggled with this, cutting this card down to 1, but we need to make a little bit more room for the 6th champion. Now, if I don't like the 6th champion, I would definitely play 2 of this. There was my only loss yesterday was because I drew no megas. They were all at the bottom of my deck. So if I drew a mega, I could have just been fine, but it didn't specifically have to be Ophani, so playing the second Ophani, like, it wouldn't have exactly mattered. It could have been anything, so it's fine. Card's really good, though. This is how you push early game aggression, because you want to Digivolve your Gato in the back, Digivolve into anything else, then Digivolve into this, potentially recover and pop a body, and then you start swinging with this, force your opponent to clear it, and when they do clear it, you get Gatomon back, which by the time they do clear it, you have amassed resources in your hand to go into Mastemon plays, so I think this card's really powerful. You should definitely play at least 1 copy of this card. And then 1 copy of Creepymon. So this card's for the mirror and for yellow hybrid because this card decks your opponent out. And that is just super powerful. On top of that, being able to mill your opponent's cards in like Imperial and stuff and decks similar that need pieces is really potent because they usually don't have a way to get back to those pieces when they're already in the trash. So I think playing this card is definitely essential right now, especially with all the Mastemon mirrors. Because if not, you're just at a disadvantage. Like, if I know you're not playing Creepymon, and I'm playing Creepymon, I can just play the long game until you're really low on your deck, and then just Creepymon you for lethal. Another cool thing is if Creepymon mills, if your opponent has 2 Digimon, Creepymon can mill 4, and then you can bring back any level 5 or lower purple Digimon, so you can bring back Lucemon and then pop a card, and then continue to mill your opponent, so very good. And then the last mega I play isn't technically like a mega I can evolve into, but it's a copy of Avenge Kidmon. So Musket can be a fairly hard matchup for you because this deck tends to go into the late game naturally. And in Yellow Hybrid, if they Susanoo and you're lower on cards, it's kind of difficult to creep him on them. However, in combination with Avenge Kid, because Yellow Hybrid plays less options than you do, you can put back all of the option cards in both players' trash, make it so your deck is bigger after they've already Susanoo. Then that forces them to have a second Susanoo, which they can't typically do because all of their Tamers and Hybrids get put back. Um, and then on top of that, you can go ahead and creep them on afterward, milling their deck even further, because what they tend to do is put all their level 4s together on the top. So you Avenge Kid play for free basically, Digivolve to a creepy, and then mill their deck until they'll never see their level 4 hybrids, and that closes them out of the game. This card was phenomenal in literally every match I played. Even in Imperial, I was at 3 memory. I had a Mastemon Lucemon play, but he had 3 bodies, so I cleared 2. I'm at 3 memory, and he has 2 options in trash. I have 5 options in my trash. I put back all 7. I played Avenge Kid for 5, bringing him to 2 memory, and then Avenge Kid popped his last body because if I put back 7 or more option cards, it pops a 8K DP Digimon or a 3 Musket. And then when I was playtesting with my friend Nobu, he was playing Musket. I drew this twice and I blew him out both games. He was never able to play again. So this card is phenomenal. I think you should be playing it in your Mastemon deck. I think if you're playing a red deck, you should definitely just be playing this either way because this card's really good, especially if you're playing Black or Gray. Because this card's searchable since it's Dragonkin, I think it's super potent. No complaints. It's one of my favorite one of techs in the deck. So it came up a lot for me yesterday, like a lot. And 2 copies of Sword Defeat. Again, I know this deck isn't very budget, but the power ceiling is really good. I think if you play it well, it's almost unrivaled in what it can do. So yeah, Sword Defeat's phenomenal. Hitting it in security is absurd, especially if you have a Mastemon, because then you literally pop any card in the game. I watched in the finals yesterday. It was my teammate George versus my teammate Mario, and George had a Mastemon on field. Mario went to Susanumon. He swung the Susanu. It hit his Sword Defeat, and then Mastemon popped the Susanu because Sword Defeat came out. And then he hit another Zwart defeat, and then Mastemon popped the other card. So, phenomenal card. Popping Tamers is insane, and then having basically Retaliation is also absurd. And you can do really cool combos with this card as well with other cards in our deck. From there, that's it for Digimon, guys. From there, I'm going to talk about option cards, which are like the deck's bread and butter. So, we're going to play 4 copies of Flame Hellscythe. Some people play 3, which is fine, but I feel like this is just the most powerful card in your deck. Being able to 2 for 1 on a free body, which potentially is a recover as well, or a sec -2, or a search, is really powerful. And then like killing something and then being able to activate insecurity is insane. So I don't think I would ever cut this card down to 3 unless I'm playing like a more, I don't know, Digimon centric type of deck. So at 4, it's phenomenal. It's just the best option card for sure. From there, I'm playing 3 copies of Purple Memory Boost. We don't play Reinforced Memory Boost because we felt like that card doesn't trigger enough, and the recovery doesn't usually matter, so nor does gaining specifically 3 memory. So we just decided not to play it. I think this card is just like better, and if it's not early game, I'm actually never activating this card most of the time. I'm usually just pitching it, and then when I pitch it, it gives me more fuel for my Avenge Kid. So cool interaction there. But definitely strong card. I think you should play at least 3 of these cards because this card does play a low rookie count and you only play 4 autos. So finding starter cards is kind of important. It also helps you push your big plays so that you don't have to pay as much memory for it. 2 copies of Chaos Degradation. I know a lot of people are playing 3. I like 2 because the security effect is very lackluster, even though it is a very uninteractable security effect. Like a lot of Digimon don't have a way to not get put into security, so that's cool. But the main effect is really powerful. Being able to put something to the top or the bottom and then mill the card. The only time I'm ever really putting something to the top and milling that card is when 1, I don't have a Digimon that can beat the card that I'm putting to the top, or 2, if it's Susanumon in the yellow mirror, the yellow hybrid matchup. Because if you get rid of their Susanumon, it's really hard for them to play, especially if they don't play a second one. Because then you get to mill them out. It's pretty potent. And then against decks like X Antibody, this is like a great deterrent. Because they can like make a stack, but then you get to degrade it, and then they just have to waste more time making more stacks. So super powerful card. I didn't want to play 3 because I was playing 3, but it bricked quite a bit. So 2 was fine. I saw it plenty. And then my power spells, right? If you're familiar with Yu-Gi-Oh, it's 3 1 of option cards that I thought were super powerful, and they were absurdly good in the tournament. So calling from the darkness is absurd. There's so many combos you can do with this, such as like popping your fall down mode, getting back 2 cards, and then fall down will trigger, bring back Gato. So you can add back Lady Devi Masty off of this. Bring back Gato, Digivolve the Lady Devi for 1, and then hard call something, go into a Mastemon, and then you just go on off from there. or being able to calling pop defeat seems absurd, or play Avenge Kid for free, pop something, and then like calling add back cards. All of those combinations of cards is just absurd. You can even do it on like a Lekmon and it's still value. So super powerful card. Definitely should be playing at least one in your deck. Then I played one copy of Underworld's Call. This is so absurd. This is such a crazy card. Uh, so what it does for those unfamiliar, um, when you activate it, you bring back a level 4 or lower purple Digimon. So you get to bring back Gato or Black Gato, which is important because if you're at 4 memory and your opponent is like almost dead, you can bring back Black Gato and it has Rush and it's one less cost, so that's absurd. Or you can pitch a Gatomon early in the game, and like if you have Underworld Skull, you can go ahead and bring back that Gato for less cost than hard calling it. But the other reason we play it is because if it's discarded, you draw a card. So it is an option card that is never really dead, and in security it plays a level 4, which is absurd because if you have Mastemon, then you play level 4, you get a search, and then you pop a card. So absurdly powerful card. And then drawing a card off of being discarded means it's never a dead card in your hand because it always 2 for 1. It's basically Upstart Goblin in that regard. So super powerful. And then my last power spell was Demonic Disaster. Shout out to Nobu because we were both thinking of this card and it was just funny. We were discussing it and then we were like, yeah, this card's crazy. For those who don't know what it does, you pop one of your Digimon and then one of your purple Digimon restands, which is quite absurd. So in combination with like what happened a few times was something like this, where I would have like this board state. I'd swing my Massamon for 2 checks. I'd play Demonic Disaster, pop my Defeat. Defeat would pop a card, and then this would restand, and I'd swing Masty again for 2 more checks. So that's absurd. Or you can have like Massamon swing for 2, play Avenge Kid for free, pop cards, play Demonic Disaster, pop your Avenge Kid, restand your Masty, and then swing again. You can do it with Ophani as well, so that way you go like swing. You could swing the Ophani because you don't care if it lives or dies, regardless, it's going to get you a body. And then if it does live, you get to pop this, do this, bring back Gato. Gato will search, this restands, and then you swing again, Digiwall for 1, and then go into like a second Master one. So, absurdly powerful card, and its security effect is also very good in Master one because if it's hidden security, you play a level 3 Digimon from your trash. So you can bring back a Floodgate Digimon like Psychmon or Gazi. You could bring back an Elecmon. You can bring back a Taper and then trigger the Masty, which doesn't seem important. But when you're going for lethal, any card in your security that like puts another body on the board is another thing your opponent has to answer that they weren't already accounting for. So I call these the Power 3 spells in my deck because they were just so potent every single time I saw them. Like no regrets on any of these cards. And then last 4 cards in the deck are going to be my Tamers. Played 2 copies of Kari because this card's an absurd Tamer. I played 1 copy of TK. This is for the reason that like you want another. I wanted another starter card in my deck, so this brings my starter count up to 16 cards. On top of that, being able to take Creepymon out of your security in the mirror, or like Avenge Kid against Musket, is super important because those are like your win cons for the most part. And on top of that, in combination with Kari, TK becomes a 3 cost, and it gets you to a lot of your pieces. So, super potent, lets you see your things. I've not once got burned off TK, so that's really cool. And then the last Tamer card in my deck, shout out to Nobu again, because we were also thinking of this card, but we just both, you know. 1 copy of Digimon Emperor. This card is so good, ridiculously good against Yellow Hybrid if they're playing Rapidmon. Because in case you don't know what it does, if your opponent promotes a rookie, you gain 2 memory. And then if your opponent's level 5 or lower Digimon dies, you can tap this all turns to draw a card. So for that reasoning, like you just get so much advantage, and you put a really nice floodgate on your opponent. So absurd card. I don't know if I'd play 2 of it, but like as a 1 of it, it was phenomenal for me, and it definitely helped my villain arc. So yeah, that's the deck, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I appreciate you guys watching the video, and if you have any more niche things or like any more texts, anything you want to discuss, please put in the comments. I'm usually really good about answering those. And yeah, you guys have a great day.